That's powerful. Just remain standing. Just put your hands on your heart. And just say, Lord, I'm honored to receive the blessings. And I'm fishing for greater understanding. You may stay standing. Sometimes you don't understand what you don't understand. Is that right? And you have to just keep on living. And we hear things like Will Smith, Fresh Prince. Sometimes parents just don't understand. But then one of the top 3 most asked questions by parents is, do you understand what I'm saying? Is it getting in your thick head? Do you understand? This morning, we want to gain some kind of understanding about this thing called life and how we can live and soar to a higher level of consciousness and superconsciousness, where we come to know that all is indeed well and all is in divine order, and that divine order places us at the top of the top. Can you just repeat an affirmation with me? Now, everyone should be rested up because it's the holiday weekend and most of you didn't work on Friday, didn't work Saturday. And so we can go through this message with enthusiasm, Michael, and energy. Repeat after me in my style. I am guided by divine wisdom. My understanding is enlightened by the Spirit within me. Source. God, Christ, within me. With every step I take, I trust the infinite wisdom of God, the Christ within me, knowing that I am always divinely led and protected. I am open to the guidance and understanding that comes from within me. And I walk in the light of divine truth. And so it is. Amen. I'm starting to gain a greater understanding. Look at somebody and say, do you understand? You may be seated. I love the political debates post-coverage. Not necessarily the debates themselves, but I love the post-coverage of the debates. When the political experts examine the candidates' responses to questions posed. And they do this thing now called fact checking. Can we say that? Fact checking. So I come to think about fact checking is that if there's a fact, there must be truth. For there to be a fact, there must be truth, right? It kind of makes sense that if you have a fact, there must be truth. And so we fact check, which is a truth check, right? And you can be asked a question of any sort, and you have 1 or 2 responses, right? You can tell the truth, or you can tell a lie. There is no middle. In a fact check, It's either the truth or a lie. And then there is the consequence. In our life will ask us questions. And some of those questions will leave us with a frown on our face, a raised eyebrow, tears in our eyes, and head shaking. And words coming out of our mouth, I just don't understand. You ever been in that kind of scenario where something happened, life asked you a question, and your greatest response was, I just don't understand. I've been in those kind of scenarios so many times where situations, things have happened. And I just couldn't muster up the energy for a better response than I just don't understand. Have you ever been there before? Where you're left perplexed by the preponderance of information gathered from a situation. And all it leads you to say is, I just don't understand. It was you, Reverend Wilmer, on last Sunday. You told us, taught us, reminded us that in the Unity Movement community, in the month of July, we focus on what? Understanding. Understanding. See if we got it. And the color associated with understanding is gold. I got a little gold on. And the disciple, Jesus' disciple associated with understanding and gold is Thomas. We all remember Thomas, right? Oh, look at you, putting the tag on him, a label on him. His mama didn't name him Doubting. And you calling the man Doubting Thomas. Doubting Thomas. But this morning, can we take that bad label off of Thomas? Thomas was a loyal disciple. Thomas traveled everywhere with Jesus. Thomas came to a situation at one point on the journey where he had a question. What if the question is just a desire to gain greater understanding? Have you ever been in a situation where somebody told you something happened and you just wanted to understand it a little bit better? You didn't accept it at face value? You asked a question out of curiosity, the need for greater information? What was the process? What was the procedure to make this happen? So, can we just take that label off of Thomas? Can we just say, Thomas? Join me in this. Because we need to resurrect a new vision of Thomas. Join me. Thomas, we love you. Simple. He's resurrected. He's feeling good. Thomas just was trying to get a greater understanding. I asked you, at some point your daughter is going to ask you the question, why, Mommy? Why do I have to do that? It's already started. And we do too, don't we? Don't we stop consistently because of desire, a need, a want for greater understanding? One of the things that stalls us out in life is the fact that we just don't understand what's happening. At every age and stage, life presents something before us, and we say, I just don't understand why. Why is it happening now? Why is it happening to me? I just don't understand. Raise your hand if you've had that kind of experience in life. So I'm not the only one. Life is so unpredictable, unstable, and ever changing. But Solomon offers us some timely advice. Not just advice, but an instruction. Solomon said, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge God, and God will direct your path. We probably need to read that together because it's become so common that we're too familiar with it, Brett. Well, speak the word, my brother. There you go. Let's read together. Read it for understanding and clarity this time. Trust in the Lord with all your what? And do what? So can everybody just lean? Let's get a little lean, Paul. I know you look to lean, Paul. You probably had a Cadillac, deuce and a quarter, leaning Cadillac, diamond in the back, sunroof top. And engaged to lean. Lean not to your own what? Understanding. In all your ways do what? Who is God to be acknowledged? The Christ within you. Christ is the source. Christ is your all in all. Christ is your highest self. We understand this? Because we can't go any farther in this message until you understand the importance of that. Acknowledging God, not esoterically separate from you, but within you, as you, through you, by you, everything occurs. We got it? In all your ways, acknowledge God, and God will what? Direct your path. So anywhere you're going, right? God will direct your path. Now, this is important because we're trying to gain an understanding. And if we understand the understanding that I'm trying to get you to understand, we'll understand how to proceed on the pathway of life. Can we get it? Can we get into it deeper? All right. Now, Charles Fillmore said there's two ways to gain an understanding. Two ways to gain an understanding. There are two paths to understanding. One is to follow the guidance of the Spirit that dwells within you, which is who? The God within you, the Christ within you, the mastermind within you, the source within you. And the other is to forge ahead, what? Blindly. If you're blind, you can't the path forward, right? So, learning through the often harsh lessons of experience. Now, what is that all about? Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. What my mom used to tell me, a hard head makes a... Oh, I didn't... We must have the same mama. we must have the same mama, and she done told you the same thing as she told me, a hard head makes a soft behind. So can I ask myself a question? Because I talk to myself, Paul. Anybody here talk to yourself? I'm resigning my position at Oakland University. I'm opening up my private practice to a greater degree. I have a lot of clients. That's right. So, Reverend Glenn, are you co-signing this theory that we should lean not onto our own understanding? Do you have the audacity, Reverend Glenn, to say, I shouldn't use my common sense? Debbie, Mom used to say, you don't use the God-given common sense that you have So how are you going to expect to get greater things? But is your common sense enough sense to go to the higher level of thought, of being, of action, of prosperity? No, it's not. So why can't we lean on our own understanding, Adam? You're an intelligent man. You have degrees. You have a lot of experience. You're touted all over the world. Well, why can't you just lean on to your own understanding? Why is it so critical for you to trust in God, the Christ within you, the source within you? Why is it so important that you rely on something greater than your human sense self? Why? Why, oh, why, oh, why? So we need to go fishing to gain a greater understanding. Can we go fishing this morning? Will you join me in a fishing expedition just this morning? Just for a few minutes. You can go back home. You can barbecue. Do what you do. But can we go fishing for greater understanding? Because I think we're prone to making errors. We're prone to making wrong choices. After all, to err is what? And we know this. So if to err is human, doesn't it make sense that we should not lean on our own understanding? Are we starting to gather some energy around this notion of we need a greater understanding? And so we probably need a greater source in our human source, our human self, our human senses? Let's go a little bit deeper. Can we go a little bit deeper? We can be misled by false information, deceptive appearances, and our flawed reasoning. 3 things. Did y'all get them? Hit pause, hit rewind, and I'll play it again. We can be misled by false information. Anybody ever been led by false information? The wrong story, but it sounded so good. Deceptive appearances. Oh, man, she look good. He is awful handsome. That man got that deep voice up there. Rod, whoo, make me melt. Deceptive appearances in our flawed reasoning. If this happened when I was 3 and I had the facts, now that I see something similar at 62, it must be the same thing going to happen again. It's flawed reasoning. Y'all got it? Still don't understand. Go deeper? Can we go deeper? Paul, can we go a little bit deeper? All right. Let's go fishing into deeper waters so we get a better understanding of why we shouldn't lean on our own understanding. Let's go fishing. And I'm going to give you the fish. All right? Can I give him a fish, Brett? Where's your fish size, Brett? Oh, that's nice. But you're a genius, Brett. Let's go fishing. Fear and anxiety. F, fear and anxiety. I sometimes let fear get the best of me, and it prevents the best of me from being revealed, expressed. Have you ever experienced that? Fear and anxiety gets the best of me. Inconsistent judgment. I have mind and mood shifts. Can we say shifts? My mind and my mood, they shift. With the blink of an eye, my mood can shift. You ever experienced that? You're feeling good and something happens, all of a sudden the mood just shifts. And I don't even need to say shift happens. What shift happens? I'm inconsistent in my judgment because my feelings and emotions are not stable. S, selfish tendencies. I want what I want when I want what I want, and I have tantrums when I don't get what I want, when I want what I want. Anybody here ever have a tantrum because you didn't get what you want? Raise your hand. Whoever ain't raising their hand, you're lying. You're not telling the truth. You're inconsistent with your spirituality because we said we want to talk about truth and they lied. I'm almost 61 and I still have tantrums when I don't get what I want. And I'm susceptible to blaming it on somebody else. You held me back. You held me back in 1972. We was at the party store. And we do that, don't we? We have selfish tendencies. And it blinds us oftentimes to the truth of what's really taking place, real understanding. The H is human limitations. I don't know everything. I don't understand everything. Is anybody like me? You don't know everything and you don't understand everything? That's us. That's it. But Google don't have all the answers. And even when you use AI now, it's artificial intelligence, but it gets things wrong. So it is this. So we have the fish, the fear, the inconsistency, the selfishness, and the human limitations. And it plays into all of this. And so it begs the question, now what do I do? Now that I know I'm not to lean on my own understanding because I'm limited in some aspects. Yeah, I'm perfect, but I haven't been perfected. Understand that. You're perfect, but you haven't been perfected. Can we say that? I'm perfect, but I have not been perfected. I'm trying to gain a greater understanding. So what must I do to gain that greater understanding? All right, y'all getting it now. Okay. Turn on the trust button. Turn on the trust button. Now we all arrive here with a trust button. It's called the heart. The heart is a built-in trust button. And the heart, in its mint condition, is wide open. You ever see a little baby? Just wanders around. Total trust of any and everybody. Will touch anything. And what do you have to do? What do you have to do? Stop them. So what happens to our trust button? We come to know it as a button that can be pushed, and trust can stop. Lean not to your own understanding, but trust in God. That was the passage, right? Remember the passage that was up there, the verse? Proverbs, Solomon. Lean not to your own understanding, but trust. But what happens when I've been living this life and I've had to push the pause button on my trust button, and so I can't trust fully anymore. What happens if you say trust in the Lord with all my heart, but my heart button has had to be pushed and paused, stopped? I have trust issues. Anybody in here have trust issues? That's all we saw from Thomas. Thomas came to a point, a scenario where he'd seen some things, didn't trust people because of life scenarios, and so Thomas had trust issues. But I do too. I have trust issues that I'm trying to work through. Chances are you have trust issues. And so if I was to pass out awards, I'd say you have trust issues, you have trust issues, you have trust issues, you have trust issues. Because that's the challenge that we have. And before we can lean on a higher power, authority, we have to deal with those trust issues. Turn that trust button back on. Life's fragility can't have us moving away from our ability to trust. And so you ask yourself, well, what do I do in shaky times, Reverend Glenn? Trust God. What do I do when I need an anchor, Reverend Glenn? Trust God. What do I do when I get the bad medical diagnosis? Trust God. What do I do when they give me the pink slip at work? Trust God. What do I do when I get the divorce papers? Trust God. Life boils down to one question. One question. And I'm simplifying life here, Brett, this morning, because I'm saying it comes down to one question. Will you allow me to do that, my little brother? I'm older than Brett. You better respect your elders. Life boils down to one question. You want to know what that question is? Do you trust God? Can we say that? Do you trust God? And so with all my pressing problems, the question comes down to, do I trust God? If I trust God, I can create my future based on understanding and trust of the power of the presence of the provider, source, which is God. Understand that. I can create my future based on an understanding and trusting of the power of the presence of the provider, source, God, the Christ that lives within me. In every moment, I have a choice to trust the Spirit within or struggle against the spirits, the currents without, outside of me. Do you understand that? So by choosing not to lean on your own understanding, we affirm our faith in a higher power that lives within us. This is simple, foundational right here. Law of mind. Can we say law of mind? Law of mind. Simple. The mind responds to a persistent idea that you impress upon it. Do we understand this? Do I need to break this down? The law of mind. The mind responds to a persistent idea that you impress upon it. What is it to impress? What is it? Stamp. What is it to impress? To excite. What if we just say impress means to excite? What are we excited about? You get excited about the excitement of energy that is derived when you're excited about something. And I impress it upon myself, upon my mind. The mind responds to a persistent. Why is the word persistent in there? Why is Ernest Holmes telling us that persistence is important? Because what you do often, you do best. What you do often, you persist and you see more of it. So what are we talking about? Persistent. Why is Ernest Holmes bothering us about mind response to persistent ideas? Persistence means I'm going to do it repetitively. It's not something I can do one time and get it. How many of you took a shower this morning or a bath? Just raise your hand. That's a little personal, but it's 100%. Well, my woman was kind of worried. She was kind of worried. So everybody in here did some kind of something. Bath or shower. We just say wash up. Get the rag and wash up. That's a little deodorant on. But everyone in here took a shower or took a bath. Now, will you make that your last bath or shower for the rest of the year? You think it'll hold on? What about the deodorant, the perfume you put on? Is that the last bit of deodorant? And so it's the persistent, habitual things that we do that matters, right? And so that's what he's saying here. The law of the mind responds to a persistent, repetitive idea that you impress upon it. I am good, I am great, I am prosperous, I am healthy, I'm whole. If you veer from that and let that negative energy take over and move your cursor over, there is no persistence, no consistency. And so you open the door for inconsistencies in your life. I like that commercial. It was it, Lume deodorant. Lumi. It promises to last for 72 hours. But please don't try that. And that's what we're saying. The principles that we teach here, the affirmations that we teach here, they're made to be repeated over and over and over and over again to keep reprogramming ourselves to that point to where we know from which we came. In every storm, every moment, every decision, trust God. It's your highest self. I want to give you some practical application points today. Apply them. It's a daily affirmation that I do. Start each day with an affirmation of trust. And you just say, today, make me believe it. Say it. Today, I trust in the Lord with all my heart. I lean not on my own understanding, but acknowledge God in all my ways. Now, when you do that daily affirmation, that's just one step in the application process. The next is the meditative reflection moment. Spend time each day in meditation, listening and being still. Hear the still small voice. Allow God's wisdom to flow to you and through you and provide you with clarity and peace. You're going out into a confusing, chaotic, conspiring world, and you need to be calm, cool, and collected. No matter what happens, I'm going to be calm, cool, and collected. That's just the second application point. The third one is acting on faith. I call it faith action. Take steps of faith, even when the path forward is not clear. Move away from your own thoughts about what should be appearing before you and keep taking steps forward. Now you understand why you can't lean on your own understanding, but trust in God, your higher self. May we all stand. I was at a Baptist church a couple weeks ago, and they don't call it delivering a message, they call it preaching. And so I was telling them about my belief system, and they said, why? They kept asking why, and the Q&A said. And I said, I have 7 because to every why. And I told them, because the Lord is my shepherd. And if I lean on the Lord, I shall not want. Because the Lord will never leave me nor forsake me. Because the Lord knows the plans that he has for me. And those plans are always to prosper me. Because the Lord is good all the time. And all the time, because through God, I can do all things because he strengthens me. And because of God, I can do exceedingly, abundantly, above all expectations that I have. When I got through with them, they said, you must be working from a higher source. And I said, you need to come to Renaissance Unity. Please join me in the affirmation. Brett style. I trust in the divine wisdom within me, and my understanding is enlightened by the Spirit. With each challenge I face, I am divinely guided, protected, and empowered to walk the path of truth and light. I am open, wide open, to God's infinite wisdom, and trust that my path is always guided by divine love and understanding. May peace, love, and divine understanding fill my heart today and always. Amen. Thank you for having me this morning, and God bless each and every one of you. Renaissance Student, I love you.